Hello everyone and welcome to a brilliant attacking game that was played on chess.com. It's a 3-minute blitz game between international master Yaacovn and the grandmaster DanielNaroditsky. It comes as a suggestion from user American Stove, so thank you for suggesting such a wonderful attacking game. And before the start of the Grand Prix, we have a time to cover a few fun games such as this. So let's dive straight into it. Features the very interesting Tartakover defense, and I have a feeling that after this game you guys might be trying it out as well. So let's check it out. Norovitz with the white pieces opens with d4. We have knight to f6, knight to f3, and now d6. This is the Tartakover defense. We have e3 and g6. Now preparing to fianchetto the dark square bishop, bishop to e2, and now bishop to g7. And now both players just castle. So castles, and now b3. White wants to develop the bishop to b2 and counter black's very strong bishop on g7. So c6, gaining more control of the center, also clearing the c7 square for the black queen, and then we will fight for the e5 square. So here bishop b2, we have queen to c7, and now c4. White also grabs a lot of space in the center here. Knight b to d7, adding another attacker of the e5 square, and now knight to c3. And finally, Naroditsky strikes with e5. We have queen to c2. This is best left ignored, just to continue developing, connect your rooks, develop the queen. Rook to e8, and now rook 8 to c1. Now you still have to develop the rook on f1, but black decides that now is the time to strike with e captures on d4. And this is very useful because if white captures with the pawn, then we're gonna move the knight, and we have this excellent f5 square to develop our bishop. The queen is on c2, so this is going to be very nice. So white decides to capture with the knight on d4, but now you have no control over the c5 square. So knight to c5, very nice square for this knight, and now rook f to d1. The position is a known one. Rook c to d1 is a known move, bishop to f3 is a known move, but rook f to d1 is a new move. So now, as of move 13, we have a completely new game. We have a5, makes sense. You do not want to allow b4 as you really like your knight on c5. Queen to b1, and now a4, pushing that pawn. Now saying, okay, you push your b4 pawn, I don't mind. This is exactly what Norovitz does, and now comes a3, attacking the bishop here, bishop back to a1, and knight to e6. And this is sort of a critical moment in the game where white can decide to fight for advantage if he plays knight to d5, and the game becomes very interesting. Point is that if captures, you open up the attack towards the queen, and you will also win back your piece, so that's not an issue. We would see something like queen d8, and after something like captures, we're going to see bishop captures, knight goes to f4, attacks the bishop, and white has some pressure. But like I said, this is a 3-minute blitz game, so white doesn't have all that much time to calculate. Knight back to b3, and now we have knight to g5. So just bringing your pieces closer and closer to the enemy king. That's how you should always play. We have c5, now going after that d6 pawn, and of course pawn to d5, and now knight to d4. So what do you play here? Well, bishop to g4. And this is, again, a very interesting position because you should just ignore what black is doing. Of course, in a 3-minute blitz game, that's easier said than done. You should play something like b5, and then, the game just continues. You say, you've got nothing here. However, here, white started defending against non-existent threats, or rather, white started seeing ghosts, and he played h3. He wanted the situation on the king side to be resolved immediately, and then he's going to start playing on the queen side, but this allows black to just perform a very crushing attack. Here bishop captures on h3 was played, g captures, and now not even knight captures on h3 with check, but even a crazier move, rook captures on e3. Crucial stuff here because you want to free up the g3 square for the queen, so if pawn captures rook, that's pretty much it. And the other fun thing about rook to e3, even if you play something like king g2 to defend the h3 pawn, now that's not possible. You're just going to be able to capture the pawn with the rook as the knight also defends it. So white doesn't really have a move here. F captures on e3 was played, but now queen to g3 check. King h1, we also pick up the pawn with check, queen captures on h3 with check, king g1, queen g3 check, king to h1, and now rook to e8, preparing well, just bringing another piece into the attack, and white is lost. It's only a matter of how you want to lose. Rook to d3 was played, and now it's actually a forced mate in 8 for black, but only the first move is the move that matters. So feel free to pause the video here and try to find the quickest way to victory while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting that you can threaten mate in 1. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is rook to e4. After all that black sacrificed, he tries to give up another rook, and you kind of have to capture it because rook to h4 will be checkmated. There's no defense here. So the knight has to be captured as it was in the game. Now comes knight f captures on e4. Now the threat being knight to f2 checkmate. The queen is completely boxing the white king in, so knight to f2 will be game over. So rook to f1 defending the f2 square, but now just bishop to e5, and it was in this position on move 28 that Yaacovn resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So really a spectacular game. Everything about it was super enjoyable. After that h3 move, white's position just completely got obliterated. Now the thing is, after knight f3, okay, you could guard the h2 square, but we're just gonna capture it, and that's it. There's nothing you can do. If bishop captures on e5, we can still play queen h3 check, and after you block this, as there's no other move, queen captures on h2 will be checkmate. So let's just see this like a perfectly normal position where you can just continue playing. Queen d3 can be played, b5 can be played, a lot of moves can be played here, but after h3, such an innocent looking move, and everything just falls apart. First the bishop, then the rook, and then of course the other rook is also sacrificed, and then well, just bishop e5 and game over. There's no way to defend. Rook f2, of course, impossible. Queen to h2 is just over. So beautiful stuff by Naroditsky. As usual, he's one of the I believe one of the strongest attacking players with the black pieces in the world. I don't think in shorter time formats, I don't think there's anyone he can't defeat, and in even quicker time formats than 3+0, for example, in Bullet, and even faster, I think, with the black pieces, he can do stuff like this to the likes of Magnus and the other, legendary players. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, always keep recommending me such games, as they are, these are the kind of attacking games that belong in books. Even though they're blitz games, you can still learn a lot from them. I would like to thank Nagarjuna Ponagoti, GM Stocks Rocks, the original Skakomatic, the Evans Gambit for being winning, and Ken Scott for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions, such as this one and whatever else happens in the chess world. The Grand Prix is starting very soon, so we are going to cover that. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.